Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Touchdown, Washington!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 53 of The Steelskin Show, a show hosted by one diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan and one diehard Washington Redskins fan. From game recaps, game previews, news headlines, analysis, opinions, and all kinds of other stuff, we have got you covered on all things Pittsburgh Steelers and Washington Redskins. My name is Patrick. I'm the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers here on the show.
And I'm Chris, voice of the Washington Redskins.
Yeah. Chris, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
Good to see you tonight. So, obviously, today here at episode 53, you probably already know what we're going to talk about. The big elephants in the room. That is Kirk Cousins and Le'Veon Bell. Redskins and Steelers both failed to get long-term deals done with both of them. Not overly surprising for either one. We both kind of anticipated it more on the Cousins side. But, yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about that today.
Yeah, okay. So, Patrick, I want to just go ahead and get it out in the open.
Okay.
Le'Veon Bell, I really was he on the cabbage at the negotiating table?
What you mean?
I mean, because Pittsburgh came in there with a strong offer. I mean, okay, from my standpoint, okay, it ends up averaging $12 million a year, so they didn't try to
$12 million a year, $30 million over the first two
of new money. And for those of you who wonder why I keep saying that is they offered $30 million, and that did not include the $12 million that he's going to make with the franchise tag.
Okay, how do you know that?
Well, I just know the press releases from Pittsburgh and the Dan Graziani from the ESPN said it was $30 million in new money.
Okay, so the initial report came from Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network. And this is what he said, and I quote, pay very close attention, guys, out there to the wording. Because, again, these are things that kind of go over people's heads sometimes. It was a 3-year deal worth $42 million. It averaged over $12 million per season with $30 million over the first 2 years. So, Chris, I'll take it back to you. Does anything stand out there to you? Because it did to me right off the bat. I read it, and I was like, Bell, you dummy. How could you? Wait a minute. And then it hit me.
Okay, so are you saying that they couched the $12 million he's going to make in this?
Here's what I'm saying. We don't know the guaranteed money. That's what I'm saying. Here's what I will go ahead and say right off the bat. This did not appear to be a low ball offer I guess, by any stretch.
I guess that was my thing. I really wondered if Pittsburgh was going to try to get him in at under $10 million a year.
No. Look,
I thought they were going to try to get him around $9 million, kind of a shady McCoy.
I did too. I really thought the Steelers were going to try to cheat this guy a little bit.
I really felt like they would try to go with the years and try to get him to take less money. But
yes.
I just think from a purely eyeball test, this did not seem like a bad deal.
No. And this is where we can kind of make some, comparisons and some contrasts to the Le'Veon Bell and Kirk Cousins situations. The Kirk Cousins situations, you had Washington trying to lowball that guy from the start.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, on the other hand, even though we don't know the guaranteed money, and by the way, that is important. That is important.
How it breaks down.
Florio himself and Ian Rappaport, they both made some great points the day after about, guys, you got to pay close attention to this stuff because you never know the guaranteed bucks in there. But you are right. The Steelers did not appear to be cheating Le'Veon Bell here.
Right.
What we have here is Le'Veon Bell thinks he's worth more. And I'm also going to assume that when he did look at the guaranteed money, he said, no way, Jose. And that's why he is choosing to pay or play on the 12.12 franchise tag. And we'll get to that in just a second. The first thing that I kind of want to start off with here is I am going to come to Le'Veon Bell's defense in a couple of areas. Because, as you guys know, we here on the Steelskin Show, we tend to be pro-player more than anything. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, we tend to come down on the side of, hey, man, if you get a chance to cash in, go for it. If you got a chance to get that big money payout, I salute you. I congratulate you. You go get you some money. So I'm never going to get mad at a human being, a selfish human, which we're all selfish human beings. Come on, don't pretend like you're not. Don't get self-righteous all of a sudden. You can't get mad at a dude for trying to max out. So there's that aspect of it. Here's another reason why I'm not going to completely chew Bell out. Chris, under the current collective bargaining agreement that we're under, players get ripped off. Now, we do have a chance to get a new CBA in the year, 2020? I think we have a chance to get a new CBA.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, 2021. But under the CBA we have now, teams can hold so much money from players. I mean, would you kind of agree with that? I mean, it is a tough CBA we have at the moment.
It's a tougher. Well, it is and it isn't. It is tough when you consider. It's tougher. It's a tougher CBA than I thought they would get when back in 2011. But in another way, it's okay, I think, because of the way the salary cap
continually
has
goes
increased.
Sure.
I mean, it's
fair.
meteoric compared to how it moved earlier. So, I don't think they're all. I don't think they're happy with it.
No,
I think the deeper they've gotten into it, I think there's some things they would love to do differently. But
I think evidence of it is now you're seeing players just being like, fine, I'll play in the tag. Because now they're beginning to see that they can kind of go behind the franchise's backs and say, we'll take the 1-year tag, get 100% guaranteed money. That's what it all...
Right.
Folks, here is the key. Guaranteed money is everything. It's everything. Why do you think players are playing on the tag more? Because that is fully 100% guaranteed. It's not this incentive thing. It'll come in the form of a signing bonus or maybe a roster bonus. No. It's all up front. It's all guaranteed. So that's another reason I'm going to come to Bell's defense here. We do kind of have a pretty bad CBA right now. Now, here's another reason that I will somewhat stick up for Bell, and I'm sure this is where you and I will get into a little bit of a debate. Bell, I thought, made some very moving and some very good points. After the deadline expired, he spoke to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, and Bell basically said, look, I'm tired of the running back position being neglected. He said, we block, we run, we catch, and he said it's about time that we get a little more recognition here. And look, Le'Veon Bell he can say that more than most running backs in this league.
I think, yes. I think he and David Johnson are the two exceptions. I totally disagreed with his thinking in terms of I want to be paid like running back 1 and wide receiver 2. Because he's not wide receiver 2.
Well, not anymore because Bryant's back. But Chris, let's be honest. Who was their second wide? I mean, I'll ask you, who was their second wide receiver last season other than Brown? That's right. It was Le'Veon.
Wheaton.
Well, it was
Eli Rogers.
I mean, he was kind of your.
I
slot
understand
guy.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess here's where I had a problem with that. And really, I think the Steelers may have come out just as good going 1 year. Le'Veon Bell has been a complete failure in the playoffs in terms of getting injured. He has not been money in the big games. I mean, he got injured in the championship game,
Kansas City game, and Miami game. Man ran for about
170
yards
where
each.
was he in the championship games? Where it really
true.
When he is a game changing guy.
But do you blame that on Bell?
Yeah, I blame. I mean, you can't blame him, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean it happens. But now, and obviously, I'm sure that did factor into the Steelers. When they were there.
I just think here the Steelers came in there with a $12 million offer, which I'm not sure any running back is going to see that. I mean, maybe they will.
And this is where you do have a good point. You have a very, very good point there. And that kind of brings me to my final point. Le'Veon Bell could very well be gambling here. In fact, I think he is gambling.
I think he kind of is.
Because here's what's going to happen. I think we all expect the Steelers to tag him next season. Just slap the franchise tag on him again. Fine, we'll play you. Tell you what, it doesn't appear that Le'Veon Bell is ever going to get the money he wants out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think the Steelers might look at that and say, tell you what, would you gladly play on a 1-year deal that paid you $14 million? Bell would probably say, sure, here you go. Now, after year 2, 2019, Bell probably is buy. 100% buy. But here is what I will say. Here's what I will say. Le'Veon Bell is not a lock to come back next year. by any stretch of the imagination because of a couple of reasons. First off, the Steelers have got to get deals done with Alejandro Villanueva and Stephon Tuitt, Chris. Those deals are not going to get done this offseason. They're going to get done next year. So let's just say the Steelers get to next season and they don't want to pay Bell $14 million. Maybe Bell has a crazy freak injury this year, and then at that point it's like, whoa, now we really don't want to put the tag on you. We'll let you test free agency. But let's just say they're not feeling like paying him 14 point whatever million, and they want to get deals done with Villanueva and Tuitt. Okay, there's that possibility. Here's possibility number 2. Bell may want to test free agency. He may want to test free agency, but Chris, here's what I will say, and I know this as a fact. Bell may get more guaranteed money out of another team, but he will not get $15 million a season.
No, I don't
from
think
any
so
team
either.
in this league, even if it's a Redskins or a Raiders. And I'm saying teams like that because, there's these franchises out there who seem to have endless amounts of cap space. Like, where do you guys get your cap space?
Yeah.
I do think there's another team out there that would gladly pay Le'Veon Bell, maybe give him more guaranteed money the Steelers would. But Le'Veon, I love you, I respect you, and you deserve a round of applause for trying to max out your position and trying to bring recognition to running backs. But you will not get $15 million, bud.
I know. I don't believe you will.
It ain't happening. And why am I saying $15 million? When you kind of do the math of wanting to be the best paid running back and the number 2 wide receiver, $15 million. And also, you remember back a couple months ago, Bell puts out that he raps on the side. I don't have a problem with that. Players have hobbies outside of football, but he made a rap song several months back about saying they better pay me $15 million a year.
Yeah.
Bell, like I said, dude, I love you, but you ain't getting $15 million, buddy.
No,
it ain't happening. So that's why I say Bell. Look, Bell may have looked at the guaranteed money the Steelers were going to give him and said, "No way, Jose." But here's what the Steelers did give him. They gave him a very generous offer.
I guess
you may have gambled, Le'Veon.
Right.
You may have played your hand, and you may wish 2 years from now you took this deal.
That's what I guess. That was my thought at the beginning. Is I don't know that you're going to find a better deal. And to me, this was Pittsburgh completely.
This was their best offer.
And this was Pittsburgh completely admitting, Le'Veon, you're an important part of this football team.
Yes.
And we are judging you as such.
Yes.
And we're not trying to beat you down. We're willing to work off the cap number.
Mm-hmm.
Here's $30 million in your first 2 years. And even if you want to say, okay, how's that $30 million paid? But it's still $30 million in the first 2 years. So if you want to half it and say, okay, his first 2 years he's going to average $15 million a year,
right?
Depending on how that's worked out. But
and the problem there, and this is what I would guarantee you his agent said no way about, was the guaranteed money again. Because look, when you do the basic math of 12.12 plus the $14 million next season, you get about $26.67 million. Now, a lot of people say, but Le'Veon, $30 million over 2 years, that's more than your 2 franchise tags. Once again, we don't know the guarantees.
No, but it's $30 million fully guaranteed. It's not guaranteed for injury. It's fully guaranteed. Now, I don't know how that's dispersed.
And that's the point. We don't know.
But who cares how it's dispersed? Is it? Do you get $10 million within 5 days of signing, and then you get another 5? I mean, who cares? You're still guaranteed in your first 2 years of the deal $30 million.
Sure.
Now that doesn't mean you're going to get $30 million check.
Yeah.
Most teams will say, okay, within 5 days or 10 days of the contract, you'll get $10 million in the form of a signing bonus.
That's exactly right.
And then, do X amount of time after the season. So I guess I don't think Le'Veon's going to go somewhere else and find a better deal because teams have kind of standardized how they disperse the guaranteed money.
That's exactly right. And like I said a second ago, he may test free agency, and he may come across a team that gives him a little more guarantees. But Le'Veon, I'm telling you, man, you're not going to get what you want. If you think you're going to get $15 million a year on a multi-year deal, it's just not going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen.
Le'Veon Bell is talented beyond words.
Yeah.
He's the best running back in this league. When you combine his wide receiver skills and his blocking skills, he is a special football player. But Chris, I've been on Le'Veon. I know I've been kind of polarizing on my opinion on this. I've been kind of half Le'Veon, half Steelers, and I even defended Le'Veon a little bit tonight. But now that the smoke has cleared a little bit, I got to be on Team Steelers now.
Yeah, I don't think if you're a Steelers fan,
I think the Steelers gave him a reasonable offer.
Yeah, I think if you're a Steelers fan, there's no way you can come out mad at your team because
No.
They went the distance for this guy, and like you said, it may turn out he could turn in a monster 1,700-yard, 600-yard receiving, 2,400 yards from scrimmage.
I still don't think that changes their offer.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, where else is he going to go to find this kind of money?
I don't know, man. I think it was a good offer. In fact, it was more generous than I thought the Rooneys and the Steelers would ever give a player.
Yeah, I did too. I was
blown away.
When I saw the breakdown, I was thoroughly. But and did you see how the Steelers in their press release? Oh,
they were very gracious, very cool.
Didn't make it about themselves.
Yeah.
Unlike us.
Well, and we're about to get to you guys. Last little thing I'll say, Le'Veon Bell, for all of you guys who are scared out there, he did indeed confirm that he's going to play on the tag. He did say that he's not sure when he's going to sign the tender. That shouldn't surprise anybody. And here's the thing. I will defend Bell here. Chris, I don't really want Bell going through camp in preseason. I kind of don't. Bell has he technically has till I think somewhere middle of August to sign it and to get the guaranteed money.
Right.
And I'll be 100% honest, guys. I don't think he's an evil man if he doesn't sign it. If he doesn't sign it right away, I'm not going to say he's bad because, again, do you want Bell going through preseason and training camp?
Don't you think it's kind of a tool move, though? I mean, be with your team. Everybody needs to be there.
Well,
I mean, he's not better than anybody else. He needs to be in camp.
Well, I guess I'm just trying to say,
how many reps
does this guy need, to get ready for the season?
I know, but you
want James Conner to get the bulk of the practice in camp.
I understand that, but I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to set up some kind of Le'Veon's Le'Veon.
Well,
I mean, he needs to be in there with his team. He needs to be working sweating like the rest of the guys.
Well, one thing I thought was interesting is Ramon Foster, our left guard, got on Twitter and basically said, we want to see you at camp. He put out a tweet where he was very open.
Yes,
we hope you're at camp.
I'm going to tell you something. If I'm an offensive lineman and I'm 310 pounds and I'm out there running sprints.
I'm busting my tail for you.
I'm busting my tail to get myself better, to make you look better.
That's true.
You better be behind me.
So it's not a bad point.
You better be at camp. Now, I agree with you that this is not the time to overuse him.
Sure.
This is not, especially as fragile as he seems to be in some areas. But he needs to be at camp. He needs to be there.
Okay.
I don't think you want to set up some kind of, guys, I'll show
He's
up.
He's special. Yeah.
I'll sign and show.
Yeah. And that's not
especially
a bad point.
for a dude that, missed the first 2 games last season.
3.
For first 3 games.
4 the year before the suspension.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I would think he'd be chomping at the bit to get in there with his team.
There is a little bit of this to this. There's a little bit of this situation where you go, Le'Veon, come on, the Steelers have stuck by you here.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
you've been in 2 different suspensions, and they've been by your side, man. Come on now. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are with Bell. Here's the thing, guys. We can sleep easy this year. He's a Steeler. Next year, it's too early to have this conversation. We'll be here at this table next year talking about what happens.
Yeah.
2018 is very uncertain, and I hate that we're here. I really do. I wanted this guy to get signed to a long-term deal, but clearly they are not on the same page. But he's a Steeler this year, so I guess in the short term we can rest easy on that. Chris, let's kick it. Let's kick it over to you.
Yeah.
Bruce Allen is just.
He's a tool.
That's putting it lightly. Okay, so here's what I would like you to do. There's a lot of confusion in the air now because Bruce Allen just threw Kirk Cousins.
Bryce Allen, you mean?
Yeah, Bryce Allen.
I'm saying that because my accent makes Bruce sound like Bryce.
Oh, okay.
Because, Bruce's accent makes Kirk sound like Kurt.
Okay. You didn't mean to do it.
It's Bryce Allen.
Okay. It's a very common mistake.
Bryce
Happens
Allen.
all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what I'd like you to take us through first, Chris, is because of the statement that Bruce Allen put out, he seemed to make it seem like Kirk Cousins rejected the best offer of all time.
It was amazing.
And Kirk is a tool, and we tried. Please explain to our audience why Kirk is the smart one here and was right to reject the offer. Because there's some smoke in the air about this right now.
Okay, well, here's the analogy that I thought of, okay? All right. I was watching the Bruce Allen little press conference there. And do you remember on Austin Powers when Dr. Evil put himself on the big screen to the generals there in America, to America, and he said, "I want $1 million," and everybody just $1 million.
Is that kind of what you?
Because then everybody said, "Oh, hey, Dr. Evil, that's not a lot of money in the 1990s." That's okay. So Bruce Allen gets up there and says, "We were going to pay him $53 million up front.
Oh, it seemed ridiculous.
Guaranteed, 72 guaranteed for injury, folks." Let me just break this down for you, okay? If Kirk Cousins, he's going to play this year on 24. Now, get your calculators out, because he's going to make basically $24 million this year.
Okay.
If they transition him next year, he's $28 million.
28. So you're at 52.
You're at 52. There you go. Do you see? Do you see why?
Kirk
didn't even answer that one?
Yes.
So I just want to break this down, okay, because I'm trying to remember who did this because I want to source it correctly. Basically, this guy, I think it was Rappaport, said, "Hey, this is pretty simple. The reason this deal did not get done, I saved this and now I can't find it." Oh, here we go. So here's the thing. The best offer they had was a 5-year extension worth $110 million. If you add the $24 million that he's going to make this year, it's a 6-year, $133 million deal. Do you know what that averages out to? $22 million.
So that's under.
He's going to make 24, and I'm going to pay you $22 million.
The man's an idiot.
I just sat down. I was buffaloed. This was before. I mean, I can't tell you. It
had to be a fun day for
the
you.
nausea that swept over me watching Bryce Allen talk about this deal.
Yeah.
And then the way
the confidence with which he talked about it. Like,
and then so the way he throws Kirk under the bus. Well, Kirk, they did not respond to this offer. Well, let me take just a minute to give you my take on this, okay? The Redskins lowballed Kirk after the 2015 season to the tune of they started at 12, they never got above $16 million. The counter offer that Cousins a deal, we could have had a long-term deal with Kirk Cousins for $19 million a year, $44 million guaranteed. That's documented, okay? The Redskins turned that down.
Yeah.
So the minute they tagged him in 2015, this started the ball rolling.
Yes.
There was no reason for Kirk Cousins to do. There's still no reason for Kirk Cousins to do a long-term deal.
Oh.
But if I'm sitting there, my agent and I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about. Before I'm going to tell you what I would say to my agent. Look, let's see what their offer looks like, and we'll go from there.
Sure, we'll amuse ourselves here.
And you kind of have an idea of the numbers that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And it does not include going from almost $24 million payday back to $22 million. Why would you respond to that?
Yeah, why?
Why would you respond to that?
Yes.
How do you negotiate with somebody that is going to take you backwards?
I think Allen skipped a couple business classes in Lake College.
Listen, at any given point, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and that's part of his problem. He honestly thinks he used to be an agent. So he thinks he can sell
Not a very good one.
No.
Apparently.
No, I would hate that guy to be my agent. But he thought that somehow he could get in there and sell this thing.
To all of the former players, if you have tragic stories on Bruce Allen,
please let us know.
Please call our hotline. We're here for you.
So there was no reason. I don't think it was a slam at the Redskins. I just think it was, look, what do you say to this?
Yeah.
Why would I answer this?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The vitriol that was being spewed on Twitter, all of a sudden after Allen's comments, we're talking about Kirk getting thrown under the bus. There's no way, he's coming back. But Kirk Cousins, I think, may have saved this entire season with the way he answered the next day.
Mm-hmm.
He said, number one, look, I knew Bruce was going to say something. He told me they were going to have to make a statement. He felt like they needed to get their side out there. I'm totally fine with that. Number two, he said he was not offended at being called Kirk.
Yeah, he left it off. He played it off.
He said he prayed very hard about whether to respond to the offer, but at the end of the day, he felt like he had peace about his decision. Feels like the Lord has worked this situation out the way he wants it worked out, and he's comfortable.
Yeah.
And see, he also said, I need to see how this year's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of Redskin fans, and Bram Weinstein. I can't. Okay, sorry. Bram Weinstein. I think he covers the Skins. He's covered the Skins at different times up in Washington, and he's a good guy. Yeah. But he totally went off the rails, saying that Kirk's turned into LeBron. He's wanting to control the Redskins. I was like, are you kidding me? How is he trying to control roster here?
Yeah, come on.
Number one, the GM that he had a good rapport with got completely fired, slandered, rolled over. Number two, the offensive coordinator who you built a very good bond with leaves to be a head coach. Thus, you have a completely different play calling dynamic. You're left with a front office run by Bryce Allen for all intents and purposes. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I just kind of want to see how this season works.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see how we do.
Yeah, well, not only that, I'll just go ahead and I'll pop the $1 million question, even though maybe nobody wants to answer it right now. One of the things about our show is we try not to be the hot take show. We try to be reasonable, level-headed. I'll just give you my hot take. I'll do it. Fine. Kirk Cousins is gone. He is not a Washington Redskin next season. What do you think? I would say at this point there's a 0% chance he's back.
After Allen's comments, I thought there was a 0%. After Kirk's comments, one of the first things he said was, my desire is to be a Washington Redskin.
Yeah, but how much of that is just
now? Maybe that's platitude.
To give Allen a little paper cut and pour some lemon juice.
Maybe.
In, you know.
I think there's about a 25% chance he's there. I think it's tough no matter how you slice it. A lot of Redskin fans out there have been saying, "Hey, go ahead and trade him, folks." The Redskins are in the same situation on the trading wise as they are with contract negotiations. They have no leverage. Nobody's going to fork over a lot of draft picks because they know there's a decent shot they're going to have a chance to get him this offseason.
That's right.
So why in the world would you mortgage your future when you can just wait this thing out?
Yeah. Not to mention he's been pretty good.
You know what I mean? There's no reason to give a boatload of draft picks. Some Redskins fans were like, "Hey, man, we can make it without him."
Yes, if I hear, go ahead and give the reins to Nate Sudfeld.
Really, I don't want to hear Nate Sudfeld's name. Really, it galls me, and not because I don't like Nate Sudfeld. It's just, folks, I understand we are the team that completely canonized Colt Brennan a few years back. I understand that. We love our third-string quarterbacks. But can we be real for a little bit, folks?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I don't even know what.
Chris just vomited in his mouth.
I don't even know what to say. Okay, I'm sorry. If I'm not here to change opinions. I'm not going to argue. I mean, if your opinion is let's get Nate Sudfeld in there, that's great. That's great. That's great. My opinion of Nate Sudfeld isn't great at this point. It's not. So there it is. The Redskins have John Kym, who I love as a sports writer, just said, "Look, folks, the timing of this whole situation has just been off."
Yeah.
From the time the whole thing started in 2015 to now, the Redskins have just been behind the 8 ball the entire time.
Yeah.
And there's been no reason for anybody to go crazy with a trade. Yes, if you felt like you couldn't sign him and you felt like you could get something for him, but I don't think the Redskins are even in that position.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say a little bit ago. I was just going to say, throughout this entire process, Kirk Cousins has not only schooled the Redskins front office in the business department, he's killed them in the PR deparment too.
Yes, that is an excellent point.
He has slaughtered them across the board.
Listen, I'm not gonna get up here and preach, but you know, the Bible says a soft answer turneth away wrath. Well, you know, Kirk Cousins in his comments yesterday completely switched the narrative here.
Oh yeah,
he
made Allen look like a tool.
He just ratcheted down the dialogue about 100%, and I think by the way he handled it, it kind of lets. I feel like, hey, we can kind of just focus on football stuff now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he made
He's
Allen look like
comfortable. He could have come out and been snarky and said, "Take that, Bryce. Let's do this. Okay, you want to roll?
Let's
we'll
go,
roll."
Bryce.
But he didn't, and I feel like if he's not going to get upset about it, I'm not going to get upset about it.
Yeah.
We are where we are. Bad leadership begets bad decisions, and we continue to have bad leadership. Instead of Bruce Allen saying, you know what, how fortunate is it that we whiffed on RG3, but we did not go in the tank because we have Kirk Cousins.
We have this Kirk Cousins kid. Yeah.
How many teams can say that?
Who broke multiple Redskin records.
Exactly. How many teams can actually say they gave up what they gave up to get one quarterback? Within 2 years, the dude was done, and, hey, we didn't miss a beat.
No.
In fact, we got better.
Yeah. And you and I were talking about this on the phone the other day. It's just sad to see a franchise who you kind of saw the last couple of years. Okay, the Redskins are coming back. Here we go. The Redskins might get back to a place where they used to be. And in the course of 2 years, one man in that front office is taking the whole franchise down.
And listen,
it's sad. It's so sad to watch.
A couple of people, I think I tweeted out a couple of things, but if you lived through the Vinny Serrato era,
I did see that tweet. Yeah.
It was just an embarrassment of huge proportions. But if you look, and listen, I despise Vinny Serrato. I never want to give that man credit for anything, okay? So the fact that I'm going to say the winning percentage of the team is better under Vinny Serrato, that's just blind luck, and thankfully he had Joe Gibbs for 4 years. Okay, that's the only reason. It's not because of anything Vinny Serrato did. The man's a fool. But
Chris, what do you think
Bruce
about
Allen, how in the world, what have we done as an organization to deserve Vinny Serrato and then Bruce Allen? How does that happen? I mean, I feel bad for Panther fans. You fire a competent GM and Dave Gettleman, and you go retread Marty Herney.
Yeah.
But I can't sit there and laugh at that because we've gone from Serrato to Allen. So, anyway, thank you, Kirk Cousins, for giving us our season back by acting like an adult.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And he should be our long-term quarterback. The Lions are getting ready to extend Matt Stafford to a record-breaking deal. What's Matt Stafford done in this league?
Yeah.
He has tons of ability. People fawn over his arm, but his win-loss percentage ain't that great.
Yes.
It's not great, folks. He hasn't sniffed a Super Bowl.
No.
But yet my point is this. You pay for competence in this league.
Yes.
Teams do it every year, okay?
If you can get a guy in there who understands the system,
that you're
who's
comfortable
familiar
with, that makes plays and puts you in a position to win, you pay that. Obviously, Bruce Allen thinks otherwise.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
Amen. Yes, Lord. All right, so that's where we stand with Bell and Cousins right now. Like I said, we'll revisit this topic 2018.
Next year.
Next year. We'll talk about where we are. All right, guys, remember, follow us on Twitter at Steelskin Show. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Steelskin Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter. I am at P_Garrison. He is at CGLSKSC. YouTube, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. iTunes, please listen to the show there. Subscribe, rate the show, write us a review, tell us how we're doing, all that wonderful stuff. Coming up next on the Steelskin Show, we are continuing our roster evaluations. We've completed our roster evaluations of the defense. And today, next time, we are moving on to the offensive side of the football. We're going to cover wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks first. That is next on the Steelskin Show. But until next time, good night, guys.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Touchdown, Washington!